Thanks SelfHaircut University for sponsoring this video. It's your man Alex, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I give myself a Mohawk self-haircut from the beginning to the end with all the useful tips and tricks you will need. With that being said, let's jump right into this video. So to get started with the self-haircut, I'm going to be using my Babyliss FX trimmers, and I'm going to be going up just slightly above my ear around the sides of my head. And I'm going to be creating basically a right angle, right? Like a 90-degree angle. So I'm going horizontal above my ear, and then I'm going straight down towards the back. It's going to look a little bit weird while you're cutting your own hair, but as you start to fade and create more guidelines, you're going to start to notice that it's going to make that roundish shape, and you can also fix it even with the fade. So it might look weird to start, but it will look a lot better once you continue to add more guidelines. So now I'm going in with my $40 Kemi clippers that I got off of Amazon. If you guys want to check them out, they're in the first link in the description down below. Really good clippers, but going in with these clippers, I'm using the no guard lever open, and I'm going up about ½ an inch from that first guideline, right? So I'm only going up ½ an inch. Now the thing is with guidelines, you have to make sure they're as perfect as possible, right? You don't want crooked or jaggedy guidelines. Try to make sure that it's as even as possible throughout the entire guideline, going horizontal and going down as well. So now I'm going to be going in and fading in that first hard line, right? So usually what I like to do when I cut my own hair, I like to put in the guideline first, and then I like to go back and fade in the hard line. So I always go guideline, fade, guideline, fade, guideline, fade, right? I just find it to be a lot easier. Now with this section of the haircut, right, the trimmer to the no guard lever open, what I want to do to fade in this hard line is go no guard lever halfway, and I'm going to go halfway in between that zone, and then I'm going to close the lever completely to try and soften up that bottom hard line as much as possible. And then if I still see a hard line, which most likely I will because my first guideline was with the trimmer, I'm going to have to go back to the trimmer, use the corners, do some detail work, and really just attack that bottom hard line. So now I'm going to be going in with my number 1 guard lever open and putting in my next guideline. Again, I'm still going up ½ an inch from the previous guideline, right? From the previous zone, I'm still going ½ an inch, right? So I'm going to be doing the same thing horizontal and vertically, going up ½ an inch. Now with the 1 guard lever open, I like to kind of flick out a little bit as I get towards the top so that it doesn't put such a strong hard line, which will then make it easier when I go in and fade in the hard line, and I don't have to put in too much extra detail work to remove the hard line because of course my hair is thicker and darker. So now I'm going in with the half guard lever closed, and I'm just going to be flicking out that bottom hard line, right? This is a nice fade portion to the guideline, right? Guideline, fade, guideline, fade. This is the fade portion, so I'm just using the half guard lever closed. If for some reason it's still not coming out with this guard, go back to the no guard lever open and use the corners. So now for the final guideline, I'm going to be using the number 2 guard lever open. And again, I'm going to be going up ½ an inch. However, for this guideline and the one guard lever open, which is the previous guideline, I'm going to be going up and freehanding a little bit, right? So instead of just going up half an inch, I'm also going to be freehanding and going up a little bit further as I move away from my head. And this is going to be a really good way to soften up the above section so it makes it easier to blend in later on.
Before we continue with the video, I want to thank today's sponsor, SelfHaircut University. My goal with SHU is to help you fast track your hair cutting education. Whether for self haircuts or cutting other people's hair, SHU covers both options. So that means less mistakes, faster results, and thousands saved every single year for the rest of your life. Now, within 72 hours of joining, I'll personally be hosting a new member group coaching call to help you get started on the right track, as well as answer any upfront questions that you might have. With over 14 years of self-haircut experience, 120 plus lectures, weekly group coaching calls, live streamed self-haircut tutorials, 24 to 48 hour feedback, and even one-on-one coaching calls with me directly, there's no better person with more passion than myself to teach you how to cut your own hair. Click on the first link in the description to start today. Thank you, SelfHaircut University, for sponsoring this video.
So now, exactly like the half guard lever closed from before, I'm going to be using the 1.5 guard lever closed to remove the next hard line, okay? And if you're still, for some reason, seeing the hard line after you use the 1.5 guard lever closed, you probably shouldn't, but just in case you do, remember the previous guideline was with the one guard open, so if you need to, go back to that guard and flick out the rest of the hard line. So now I'm going to be using my thinning shear over comb and really just blend in all of that extra length by my part line and by the back of my head where it's creating that mohawk shape. I'm just going to be going in using my thinning shears and clipping up any hair that seems a little bit longer and trying to blend in that long length into the faded portion that I just did, right? And I know for some of you guys this might be difficult, and I know the technique might be challenging for a lot of you, especially if you're a beginner, but I highly recommend if you can put in the time to practice. Once you get it right, it's going to turn out really good, and it's just going to be a really simple way to blend in your hair later on for future haircuts. And so now the tricky part of the self haircut, where I'm going to be using my trimmers and putting in that V shape, which really makes the mohawk come together. So using my trimmers, I'm going to be creating that V, pointing the lines toward my ears on both sides. Now, if you're a beginner, maybe ask somebody to help you out with this. But otherwise, it's definitely a really important step to the haircut because it cleans up all of that excess long hair and it adds a really nice and clean touch to the mohawk. And to wrap everything up, I'm going to be using some Hans de Fuco gravity paste and styling my hair and making it look that much cleaner with the product. Now, before I show you guys the final results, here's the before one more time so you can see just how much of a difference there is from the before to the finished product. But you guys, this is my version of a mohawk self haircut. I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned something new. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as what haircut you'd like to see me do next. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Alex Kouras. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description down below to find out all of the tools and equipment that I recommend, as well as check out SelfHaircut University. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace!